OCD means obsessive compulsive disorder, in which people have recurring unwanted thoughts, sensations, or obsessions, according to Google. But translated to our beloved phenomenon, this type of disorder, which is native or grown in time, reflects in the capacity to adapt, observe, and to accept chaos in order, and the other way around. OCD causes feelings of anxiety or disgust, whether we're talking about scratched areas on previously perfect surfaces, dirty or stained elements, misalignment, and so on. I mentioned grown in time. Yes, I'm talking about personal expectations and beliefs which increase in time, as any person expects to meet and experience a luxury watch in its normal good condition. If these conditions are not met, the experience causes stress or repulsion. And yes, this is some sort of an artificial OCD which is generated through beliefs and idealism. It is the case today, as I will show you how a perfect, beautiful Omega Globemaster can end up in a disgusting condition. Normally, a watch, being a luxury item, should be maintained in good condition, as a reflective object that represents through its finishing the value of the money worth. I understand what it means to possess a watch with a normal usage that tells a story, but this is not the way to choose your watch in the morning. And as a content creator, I started to behave like a person with compulsive disorder, because I want to make sure that everything that I do, it is aligned, cleaned, and inclusive as it should be presented, as a showcase of a luxury item closer to the factory condition. And often I reshoot and delete frames which do not meet the mentioned criteria. In general, I am personally more confident to wear and enjoy an already worn watch rather than a brand new one, because it has that patina and the usage marks, right? But this Omega Constellation, it's fun. This is or was the Omega Globemaster, and as well as other Omegas, has a strange reference number. If you copy the reference number and put it into the browser, it will be detected as an IP address, resulting in an error page. That's funny. The Omega Constellation Globemaster is a refined watch with a beautiful reflective dial and elements complemented by an interesting fluted bezel. Speaking about preserving a watch, this Globemaster has a focus on the brilliance of the concept, the sky and the shining stars, a positioning of a product in the range of elegant, practical wristwatches. So definitely a wearable to be taken care of. The Globemaster was launched in 2015 at Baselworld, so 8 years since then without receiving any updates. Surprisingly, this was the first master chronometer made by the brand which still lasts in their current offerings. And despite the age, the design feels actual and well decorated. This is part of the Constellation family, and you will note the obvious similarities straight away. The pipe dial, the star which is twinkling at 6 o'clock, or the observatory embossed on the back of the watch. The fluted bezel adds a nice texture to the classic design of the watch, which is made from tungsten carbide, an almost indestructible material. But what is funny, on their website, they mention the material as being a hard metal scratch-proof fluted bezel. And as for the famous medallion from the caseback, this was designed to commemorate the Geneva Observatory, where Omega won 2 chronometer records and 6 first-place awards that Omega earned between 1933 and 1952, which is represented today by the embossed stars which surround the observatory. Now the dial is inspired from the Constellation model from 1953 with the pipe dial, reimagined into a refined sunburst blue surface with highly polished markers, decorations and hands. The layout is symmetrical with a discrete trimmed date window at 6 o'clock, and above we have the symbol of the Constellation brand, the radium-plated highly polished star which reflects in any position, helping the rest of the metallic elements to create a reflective premium view, let's say. If we flip the watch, we meet the beautiful decorated caseback, potentially one of the most impressive casebacks I've ever seen because of the medallion placed on the middle of the sapphire glass, surrounded by the beautiful refined movement with Côte de Genève, the 8900. This is a master chronometer caliber which is approved by Metas and equipped with a lot of goodies, higher magnetic field resistance, reaching up to 15,000 Gauss, and 60 hours power reserve with an accuracy between -4 and +6 seconds per day. As measurements, the watch offers a good diameter of 39mm with 47mm as lug to lug, 12.6mm in height, 20mm between the lugs, offers 100 meters wall resistance and weighs 160 grams. A bit too tall and a bit too heavy if you'll ask me. The only survivor of this watch is definitely the tungsten carbide bezel. I'm not a scientist, but apparently it seems to be the hardest metallic alloy from the blue planet, and we can spot the sharpness and the brilliance of the finishings, which still lasts despite the huge usage of the rest of the case. The profile looks like a boat type of a case with the end lugs pointing upwards compared to the normal ones which points towards the wrist. And that is cool because the trimming of the lugs makes the watch to look smaller. But also the bracelet leaves more natural between the case lugs. There is a polished chamfer on the case, or better said, there was a polished chamfer, which should have made a separation between the radial brush from the top and the vertical one from the side. The bracelet is made in the same style of the case. It is all brushed. I mean, the usage makes it more blasted than brushed, but it is what it is. But I love how the repetitive rhythm of the bracelet leaves the unitary case. It feels heavily inspired from the Omega's past and unspecific for a modern bracelet. A little design mistake I considered here the way the clasp is closing. Usually the invisible bracelets with a butterfly double fold clasp has a closing order. But in this case it's the other way around. Normally the superior part that folds the bracelet should be positioned towards the wearer to have better control when closing the bracelet. Also, when you try to open the bracelet by pressing the pushers, only the folding part comes off and the other part remaining stuck on the bracelet. Basically you have to replace the main finger, which should drag the bracelet when the other two are pressing the pushers again. That's hilarious. The Globemaster works without a bracelet. I think it can be undressed as well, with quirky or serious straps, like this jean strap or this leather pilot type of strap. I believe the Globemaster is versatile enough to fit such straps, and if interested, both are produced by 7 Friends and Watches. I will leave the link to the straps in the description. On the wrist, the watch sits not too big, not too small. I mean, the case size is definitely good, but the dial size is a bit big. And because of the weight, the height and the dial diameter, we can say that the Globemaster has a bit of presence on the wrist. So any particular reasons to own such a watch? I don't know, but Teddy liked it. This has as well the quality to be a brave beater, a revolutionary design inspired from the rich heritage of the Constellation collection, equipped with the best movement that Omega had to offer in that specific period. Therefore, this Omega Constellation Globemaster is qualified as a brave beater on the channel, taking the position number 39 in the Hall of Fame, alongside other interesting wristwatches with rich history, which I have to list on the channel once and for all. And super interested I am to know, how do you preserve your wristwatches? Please let me know in the comments below. And as usual, if you're new around, please consider subscribing for future episodes. Thank you very much, thanks for watching, and until next time, be brave but keep your watches safe.